Just about, there we go. Hello, YouTube. Hello, everybody. Good to see you. Good to be with you. I hope you've had a fantastic week. I'm glad to be here with you. This has been, it's been an interesting week. Our Fruit Festival ended on Sunday, and it was a fantastic time. We had a really fantastic festival this year. It's good every year. I think it's gotten better and better in some ways. I mean, this was the smallest one we've had for a while. We had about 25 people here total, but it was a great event. We had just amazing fruit as always. We had some great people here. We had some new things that we did, and some old things that we did as well. A couple bonfires. We had a great band. We did a beautiful ecstatic dance one night. Really just a wonderful time. This past week, I've been very occupied recording videos for our coaching course. So some of you are aware that back in, late January, we released the Vibrant Health course. And that's a prerequisite for those people that want to become a certified health coach. In order to take the health coaching course, you have to take the Vibrant Health course first. So the Vibrant Health course, we've had open now for about 6 weeks. We've had 3 people finish it already, and they've been running hard. And we've had many other people who are, somewhere along the way. There's quite a bit there. And we have the coaching course pretty much built out. The last piece was to record all the videos, and there's a lot of videos. We're talking about probably 60 pages of outline, written outline. We are now a little bit more than halfway there, and we'll be finishing those videos when I return. I'm taking off today. I'm on my way to San Jose in a couple hours. So I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt, which is something you don't often see me in here, because we just finished recording a couple of videos, and I'll be heading back over there. As after this, I have a 10 o'clock group call, coaching call. At 11 o'clock, I'll go back and we'll record another hour of videos, and then I'll get my things together and get out of here. I have a flight very first thing tomorrow morning. When I get back, we'll be back, and videos all recorded by mid-April. Latest, the course will be open for those of you interested. And I can tell you, we knew this was going to be recording the videos. There's a tremendous in the meantime, there is still the opportunity to offer the regular price on the Vibrant Health. You can sign up for one or both courses at a discount, but that discount will go away. It will go away for sure. All right, I see we have a bunch of folks here with us. I'm so glad to see you all. I see Stephanie is in the house and has made a $4.99 contribution. She says, "Good morning, Loren. Looking forward to the Vibrant Health Coach certification course." Stephanie is one of the 3 people who has sprinted right through the Vibrant Health course. I know she's enjoyed it, at least that's what she's told us, and she's now ready for the next one. So it's going to be good. It's going to be coming soon. You're going to have to wait another 6 weeks or so, but it is coming soon. We're working hard to get that to you as quickly as possible. I'm going to fill you in on some other updates for those of you interested, and I know many of you are. I know Stephanie definitely is interested in Las Cascadas. I'll just bring you up to date. Some of the things I'll tell you, I've probably said before. It's just sort of a confirmation of what's happening. But let me start by talking about the fact that, well, everyone here I'm sure is aware by now that a month ago now, roughly, it was the 9th of February, so this is the 12th of March. So 5 weeks ago, Tuesday, it'll be 5 weeks actually, we bought the big piece with the 2 highest waterfalls in Central America. We now own that land. That's 409 acres for the Americans, I think, 165 hectares. Spectacularly beautiful land. This will be nature preserved, this land. Most of the land will be nature preserved. There's a small piece that's up above where we'll be doing some building and some planting, some of the fruit trees. So that's part of the fruit farm. and part of where there will be some tourist housing as well. We renegotiated a contract. Some of you are aware that PayPal absconded. If you use PayPal, be careful. I had a lot of money sitting in my PayPal account, which was a mistake. I didn't realize, but it was a mistake. I won't do, I won't use PayPal again, but don't leave money sitting in PayPal. Okay, when money comes in, you can leave a little bit of money. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars there because I had a contract, 2 contracts actually, real estate contracts that I needed to close on. I needed to pay off, and the money was there to do it. PayPal closed my account, took my money, held it for almost a year. Their agreement says they can hold it for 6 months. They now justify holding as long as they want to. They never gave me back part of my money and refused to do that. Almost $30,000. I'm out, lost to PayPal. And when this happened, I defaulted on 2 contracts. One of them we renegotiated 8-9 months ago, and I've been making monthly payments on ever since. And so we're in good shape on that one, currently up to date. The other one, the seller said, "Don't worry, I'll work with you," but we didn't sit down and renegotiate and get anything signed. We sat down this past Sunday. After the festival was over, my lawyer and her husband came from another town a couple hours away, and they spent the weekend here with us. And we met with several of our contract, what do we say it, the other parties, the people we have contracts with, including this gentleman. And he was saying, well, my family doesn't want me to sell now. In the end, he did agree to sign a new contract. It cost me a little bit, but not too bad. And we now have, I believe, the time to make it happen. We have 2 years to pay that off. We want to do it as soon as possible, and we are still where we now have ready an executive summary. I haven't actually reviewed it yet, but I'm told it's finished. Someone's been working on it. Several people have been working on it for me. So that should be ready to go. I have to review it. Hopefully we'll be sending that out to prospective investors. And if you are here and are sitting on some capital that you'd like to invest in something you believe in, please contact me. This is an amazing project which is designed to be a model to the world of how we can live not only sustainably, but also in a way that is regenerative. It's actually helping the planet. Okay, we're reforesting, we're growing fruit trees, we're improving soil, we're eliminating pasture land, which is not particularly sustainable. We're going to be building everything in an environmentally friendly way, solar power, green building techniques. We're looking at living in ways that are sustainable in community, creating a tribe. Looking at ways of educating children that actually make sense and lead to healthy adults, because needless to say, our conventional educational systems are pretty much worthless. They don't create healthy, functional humans. There's a lot of things broken, and we're destroying the environment. So, this program, this project is going to demonstrate how we can live in a way that's actually beneficial to the planet. And the land itself, with the exception of the community, each community member will own their site. The land will be owned by a nonprofit, a foundation, which has already been set up. It's called Clean Source, and it was set up in Boston, Massachusetts. And it will own the land. They'll be operating businesses that are doing things that demonstrate to clients. It's an amazing project. We have this incredible nature preserve with 16 waterfalls. We'll have an amazing botanical garden. We'll have this incredible fruit farm with hundreds of varieties, or thousands of varieties of fruit. There'll be all kinds of cool things happening, including raw vegan eateries, everything organic, everything environmentally sound. This is happening, and so we now have this key piece is now under contract again. We've made the deposit on it, and we're moving forward with that with a couple of years. When I get back next week, we have another contract which we signed last year, and we were waiting for the site plan on that piece to be the plano, the plan to be recorded. That's now happened. And that means we'll get title to that piece and hopefully to 2 other pieces within the next month or so. So a lot of progress moving forward on this, and it's very exciting. We're also working on something here for those of you who are ready to get out of Babylon sooner than later. And I don't want to devolve into the whole conversation of what's happened over the last year, where things are going. But the things that are planned are not pretty. This is not to help anyone. Okay, this is to eliminate population and to control everyone. And if you don't want to live under those circumstances, I believe we're going to be much better off in a place like Costa Rica than in a place like the US or Europe. If you're ready to get out, then what we're hoping to do is, if we can resolve the issues around on the land that we bought last year, there was titled water. Most water belongs to the state. This spring was titled. The owner had title to it. Unfortunately, didn't keep up payments, hasn't been able to help us. If we can regain the title to that, then it should be relatively easy to build on this site. We're now on 37 acres. So we can build half a kilometer or more from here and still have it be on our property and start to develop a community now here until we actually have permits to develop on the other side, which could be another year or perhaps more. I don't know. I don't know. Now, the good news is that we have, and I've mentioned before, we have a very successful, experienced developer who develops big projects like airports and huge resorts and hotels, etc., who is excited about this project, has been giving us hours and hours, tens of hours of his time every week, and is now flying to Costa Rica. He actually lives here. His wife is Costa Rican, and he has a house here, but he's been working on building a project for the government of Belize and an airport. And so he's been busy there. But he's going to be coming here in a couple of weeks to meet with me to see the project. And hopefully we'll sign a contract. He will be taking over development of the project, which is a huge positive thing, because he'll still report to me, and the project won't change in terms of the character at all, but we'll have a professional developer actually making things happen. So, and again, he's not asking to get paid. Okay, he wants a little bit of equity because he understands how beneficial this project is and how powerful it can be. So if you're an investor that would like to earn a decent return on something you actually believe in that's good for the planet, please contact us. We do need some investment capital to make this happen. All right, I'm going to go to some of the other super chats here. Jeanette Walsh has offered a $5 contribution and said, "Thank you for your YouTube videos. What kind of leafy greens do you recommend? I'm in the Chicago area." Okay, so by the way, I'm going to apologize in advance. We are doing a very minor extension here to our kitchen because it turns out that as we've grown the center from 5 beds to 42, we no longer have enough space to store all the fresh food we need. So we had a little piece under roof. We are just extending the kitchen out by a couple of meters where we're going to have more space for fresh food storage. We have these cabinets we built inside the wall where, with storage, with shelves. We'll be building a lot more. We're going to more than double, and we're going to double the amount of volume, but we're going to put more shelves in. So we're going to have more than twice as much storage space for fresh fruit. And we're also out of refrigerator space. We don't refrigerate much, but we don't have enough now sometimes. So we're creating, in this design, there will be 2 small commercial refrigerators with glass doors, one of which we have, the other one we're waiting for. And those will be built in. And so that's happening right now. And it's just back here, not far, maybe 6 meters from where I'm sitting. There's a couple of closed doors between here and there's a wall, but you can hear the noise when they're running a saw or a grinder or something like that. So back to Jeanette's question, leafy greens. The only leafy greens that are really optimal for us are lettuces. And there are dozens of varieties, around 3 dozen different types of lettuce. Some of them are going to be easier to find than others. Fortunately, Whole Foods, which you have there in Chicago at many locations, they do a reasonably good job with different lettuces most of the time. I mean, it's not the best, but you can probably find at least 5 or 6 different types of lettuce including romaine and iceberg, which is okay. People say, oh, iceberg's no good. It's fine. It doesn't have as many nutrients, but it's still perfectly good to eat. Oak leaf, red and green oak leaf, red and green leaf lettuce, bib, so many different varieties. So, see which ones you can find, mix it up, use, buy all of them, use a variety of different ones. You can use a little bit of spinach, baby spinach only, but only occasionally. And most of the other greens like kale and collard greens and cabbage and broccoli and Brussels sprouts, these things are really far too dense to be ideal for our consumption. Not things I'd recommend consuming often, if at all. Okay, I mean, we don't really keep them here. Every once I'm traveling, I'll probably be at a raw vegan restaurant in a few days with some friends, and there may not be too many other options, but they're not optimal. Okay, definitely not optimal. Bobby Swanson is here and has made a 5-pound contribution. Thank you, Bobby. Bobby says, if the body fat could be got down to a suitable low percentage, would it make the water fast more bearable? Many thanks. No, I'm not sure if I fully understand your question, Bobby, but starting a fast with less body fat doesn't make the fast easier. It makes it a little harder. You shouldn't gain body fat in order to fast, though. I'm not saying that, but there's not much relationship between the amount of body fat and how easy the fast is, how bearable fast is. Honestly, in terms of fasting, my recommendation is to have experienced guidance. My clients always say the fast is a lot easier and much more successful, much more beneficial to them when they have my guidance than when they try to do it on their own. Come here if you can. It's incredible. You're in a spectacularly beautiful, comfortable environment. There's education. There's a whole community of like-minded people. Your results will be amazing if you're open and coachable. But you don't need to worry about your body fat. I mean, what happens over time, the cleaner your body is, the cleaner your body is, the easier the fast is. So fasting for me is actually really easy. I don't feel bad. I don't feel weak. I don't feel tired. I don't feel sick. I don't have negative symptoms, because those symptoms are all evidence that your body is detoxifying. Okay, people say that fasting is difficult. It's not. What's difficult is detoxification. When your body's clean enough, fasting is easy. It's not painful or difficult in any way. And on that note, I'm going to jump over. I see Ian and Jean-Sebastian have made contributions, but I'm going to look at a comment here from Water Girl Fasts. I'm actually going to have to move my phone a little bit closer. She says, can I suggest you perhaps have topics set for your live sessions? I think it'd be super helpful for you and many. Okay, that's an interesting idea. We can explore that. In other words, next week on the live, we're going to be talking all about, I don't know what, something. Yeah, I'll look into that. I'll think about that. I mean, honestly, what you're asking of me is to be prepared, which I'm so busy that I sit down live, I answer the questions that show up. That's what typically happens. But I'm willing to consider your suggestion, Water Girl. Thank you so much. That's an interesting idea, something I haven't really considered before. All right. Ian, 444444 says, in your recent oxidized fruit video, you said you would never consume young Thai coconuts. Is there something fundamentally wrong with them? Am I okay with the ones straight off the trees here in Thailand? Yeah, coconuts from Thailand are perfectly fine. Young Thai coconuts that are shipped around the world, where they've had they're basically a cylinder with a cone on top, right? They've shaved off. You start with something this big, and you wind up with something that is, it's like this shape with a little cone on top. The problem is that when you take the exterior hull off, that outside green or yellow exterior hull, you now have something that is not impervious to airflow. Air can now get in and is getting in, and that means that the coconut, which is high in fat, becomes rancid. So I wouldn't use those, okay? Perfectly fine to drink coconut water. I don't eat a lot of coconut flesh. It's too concentrated. But drinking coconut waters is perfectly fine, but ideally it's straight from a whole coconut. Now here we actually buy peeled coconuts. Okay, the difference is they're kept refrigerated. If you go to the I forget the name of the company now, but I looked at the website of the biggest company that ships the young Thai coconuts, and it says right on their website how they store the coconuts. They're not stored cold enough to prevent them from going rancid. And I mean, I've tasted it. It was my very first trip to Costa Rica 25 years ago, roughly, almost no less, 22, 23 years ago. I flew down here with a lovely English woman I was dating at the time. And I borrowed a machete from the guy I had rented a little cottage right on the beach from, and was drinking coconuts right off the palm trees every day. Got back, used to that, and thought, I want some coconuts. Bought a case of young Thai coconuts. Every one of them tasted bad to me, and I realized why. They're rancid, all of them, every one of them. I wouldn't consume those. Okay, but if you can, Ian's in Thailand, you've got access to whole coconuts, yeah, no problem. We have, we buy hundreds of coconuts. We've planted a lot of coconut palms here, but they take 5 or 6 years to produce, and most of them aren't producing yet. And so we still are buying coconuts every week, lots of them. Water Girl has a follow-up comment here. She says, sounds fantastic, though you would be flooded by viewers interested in that particular topic, preparing for fast periods. The process at Tanglewood, switching to plant-based diets. I see. She's given me some potential topics here. Veggie lifestyles, fruitarian lifestyles. Yeah, thank you. I think it's a good idea. We can look at that as a possibility. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. All right, let's jump on down to Jean-Sebastien Delacourt, who's made a $5 Canadian dollar contribution, and says, Loren, you keep mentioning the same 4 or 5 fruits to eat plus leafy greens. For me, it seems an impossible thing to do long-term. Advice. Ignore what you think is possible and do it anyway. I'm not sure what you mean. I mean, I mentioned what we have here. So for the last 16 years that I've lived in the tropics, I've lived on watermelon, papayas, pineapples, mangoes, bananas, and salads, lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, avocados, red peppers. There are other things like rambutans, which are seasonal, mangosteens, which are seasonal. Jackfruit, we get jackfruit periodically throughout the year. We've eaten a lot of it. I had some jackfruit last night for dinner, in fact. Big group here. I mean, the festival's over. We have a bunch of volunteers. We have some friends that I invited to come back and stay for a few days. And so we had, I think, 12 of us around our big dining table eating jackfruit and whatever else people chose to eat last night. And then playing, if you've never played Cards Against Humanity, it is hilarious. It's irreverent. If you believe in political correctness, you don't want to play this game. If you're easily offended, you don't want to play this game. If you have a good sense of humor and aren't easily offended, it's hilarious. We had a good time last night. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I love all kinds of fruits. So I mentioned mangoes. They're also something we have all year long here, pretty much. I love all kinds of fruits and eat a variety of things, but we have the same few things here over and over again. And I've been living on those things for years, 16 years, and I'm perfectly healthy. I mean, there's no problem doing that long term. You might think you'd get bored, but you don't. And again, there are other things that come in. We have mandarin season. When our mandarins are in season, we have tons of mandarins, but only for about 2 months, and then they're gone. We have 150 plus different types of fruits here. Over this last week, I've eaten a lot of granadas. We grow granadas and grenadillas, but we've had a lot more of them with the festival. And I just had another meal of them day before yesterday, I think, 5 or 6 granadas. They're amazing. I love them. We've had chocolate sapotes. We have a lot of mame sapote, but we also have had chocolate sapote, something we're not harvesting here yet. The mame sapote, the sapodilla, the granadas, the grenadillas, the maracuyas, the papayas, the bananas, the mangoes. These are all things we harvest here, but there's other things that we get only occasionally. And I enjoy all of them. I love having a variety, but you can thrive eating a handful of different high quality things all the time. You don't need to have tons of variety. You need to have some variety. I definitely don't want to try living off of one or two foods. That's a bad idea because you're not going to get all the nutrients you need that way. But there's no reason why you can't thrive eating 10, 12 different things per year. Okay. If you want more, great. It's perfectly fine. Have more. I would, if I could. I do because I can, and I will because why not? But you can thrive on a relatively small number, a dozen different things per year, as long as they're high quality food. You can do perfectly fine. Okay. Rachel is here. Rachel has made a 5-pound contribution and has said, "Hi, Loren. What could cause slightly swollen feet at the end of the day? Could it be excess sodium, standing too long, or something else? Thanks." Yes, swollen feet at the end of the day don't happen from standing too long. Okay, standing too long alone won't cause anything to swell. Now, standing too long where there's problems with circulation, that can occur. As we get older, and even with younger people, sometimes there are valves in the veins which cease working properly, and so blood will pool, and then you wind up with swelling. That can occur. Okay, that's a potential issue. But sodium, excess salt, is a much more likely contributor to swelling. It can also be uric acid. There's a number of things it could be, but the most common one for most people is salt. And again, I hear at least 3 or 4 times a year from someone who says, "Loren, I don't know what happened. I'm following the program. I completed, I did that's like maybe 3 or 4 weeks after their fast, a month, 2 months after their fast. I completed my process. I was doing fine. I'm following the program. And yet I woke up this morning, my feet are swollen. My feet have ballooned up. My lower legs have ballooned up." And I'll usually respond by saying, "What did you eat with salt in it?" And they'll usually say something like, "How did you know?" Well, it's what happens. It happens over and over again. Sodium chloride is a toxic substance to our bodies. Okay, we need organic sodium in every cell. We do not need sodium chloride. I don't eat salt. We don't use salt here. When the body's in balance, we don't need a lot of minerals. So we don't have, there aren't a lot of high sodium fruits. I'm getting sodium from eating leafy greens, from eating tomatoes, but we don't need things to be super high in sodium. We just need to be getting, eating some sodium with all of the rest of the minerals we're eating, and we're fine once we're balanced. But it's probably an excessive amount of sodium chloride. It could also be other mineral salts. Sodium chloride is the most commonly found, but there's also potassium chloride, magnesium chloride. Any of these combinations of the mineral plus chloride, that's a salt. That's what a salt is. And they're all toxic to us. So we want the organic form of the mineral, that is sodium, that's part of plant tissue. It's not salt, it's sodium. Okay, we need sodium and we need chloride. We don't really want sodium chloride. Okay, I've shared this many times before, but I'll remind some of you guys. In a 2019 study, a survey of all nutrition studies, the #1 nutrition-related cause of death globally was the excess consumption of salt. Not watermelon, not bananas, not lettuce, not mangoes, salt. Okay, salt kills because it's actually toxic to us if you eat too much of it. All right, we have another super chat here, a contribution from Matt, who has made a $10 contribution, said, "I get a lot of acid reflux in my esophagus on the 8th day of a water fast and end up breaking my fast early. Is this common for someone with a hiatal hernia, or am I simply not drinking enough water?" It's very possible you're not drinking enough water, and it's very common for someone with a hiatal hernia. And Matt, do a supervised fast. I have gotten probably close to a dozen people with hiatal hernias through a fast of 26 days or more, and 100% of them have eliminated the problem. Okay, now they'll recreate it if they may go back and make bad enough choices for a long time, but we've helped every single one of these people eliminate this issue. You can eliminate it too. you're very unlikely to get this done on your own because you have to really understand what's going on. So come do a supervised fast and let's get this handled, okay? Or at the very least, work with me remotely via Skype and get it done, okay? No, I mean, hiatal hernia is a terrible thing to deal with. For those of you not familiar with it, the hiatus is a ring around the top of the stomach. And what happens is it will sometimes push up into the throat. Okay, it shouldn't be up there, but that's where it goes. When that happens, there's going to be acid reflux, there's going to be indigestion, there's going to be all kinds of discomfort. No fun. No one wants to deal with that, and nobody has to. You can heal. You need to fast long enough and properly. Long enough and properly. This means having experienced guidance virtually every time. Okay, pretty much every single time with experienced guidance, you're going to see amazing things happen. All right, I'm going to scroll up here and see where I was on the YouTube comments. Let's see here. Oh, looks like we have another super chat. So I'm back on down. Rachel is back with a £5 contribution. Says, thank you, Loren. I suspect it's the sodium supplements. Wishing you a lovely, relaxed break. Yes, Rachel's situation is unique. She is, because her sodium electrolyte levels were very low, she's been supplementing with some sodium, but the problem is it can create this issue. So you need to back off a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily stop taking them if your sodium is still low. It can help to boost that a little bit temporarily, but you probably need to back off a little bit, because if you're getting swollen feet, then you're taking in more inorganic sodium than your body is able to handle. Okay, so it would be good to back off a bit. That's what I would do if I were you. All right, thanks so much for your well wishes. Again, if you weren't here at the beginning of the hour, at the top of the hour, half an hour ago, I am off today. It has been, well, on Saturday, really, was 12 weeks nonstop clients, events. We had a retreat, then 10-week session, then another retreat, the Fruit Festival. Even before that, I mean, we had people that sort of wandered in and out of here from June through November because the borders were closed and we couldn't really turn people away. I mean, we were struggling just to be able to do what we needed to do. And so it's been a long stretch. Now, honestly, I'd love to say I'm going on vacation for a week. That's not exactly true. I'm going to be making calls every day. I'm going to be working on documentation. I'm going to be working on my book. There's a bunch of things I'm going to be doing. The difference is I'm not going to have people here. I'm not going to have employees, have 15 employees coming to me. I mean, they don't all report to me, but I'll still be in touch with them, but it's going to be different, right? Not being here means I can get away. I can chill a little bit. That happens this afternoon. Thank you. It should be a nice break. I'm looking forward to it. And Rachel's back, another £5, says, thank you, Loren. I appreciate your advice and support. You are very, very welcome, Rachel. I'm so glad to be able to assist in any way I can. So thank you so much for trusting me and for helping to support my efforts here. All right. Let's see. Where were we? Oh, it looks like I never made it to the very top of this before. Black Sheep says, hello there. Vegetarians and vegans are more likely to be depressed than meat eaters. Are you less prone to depression when you have a clean body? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I believe the reason that meat eaters are less prone to depression, if that's the case, is because their bodies aren't able to detoxify. So depression has to do with toxins in your bloodstream. And even if you're eating garbage, if your body's toxic enough, you may not really experience very much of that. As you get your body cleaner by cleaning up your diet, your body begins to detoxify. Once you get your body clean, man, there's nothing to be depressed about. We're alive. Like, I'm alive. I'm happy to be alive. I feel good. My body works. I 2 days ago, we took the group to the beach and spent the whole day. Well, I spent half the day, a couple of us, because I had to work in the morning, doing what I'm doing. But, body surfing for a while. The waves weren't that good. Playing Frisbee on the beach, running, being physically active. I mean, what's there to be depressed about? when we feel good, right? When we feel good physically. The emotional garbage often has a lot to do with toxins in the bloodstream. Getting your body clean, okay, and then keeping it clean makes a huge, huge difference for most people. Okay, so yeah, it makes a huge difference. I think that's what's going on there. All right, Gabriel says, good morning from Spain. When fruits or lettuces are picked, how many days can pass to maintain most of the benefits and nutrients? Yeah, it's a good question. I can't really answer the question. I can tell you that from the moment we pick fruits and leafy greens, they begin to lose some value, some nutrients. And so ideally, we're going to eat them as soon after picking as possible. That's ideal. The sooner we eat them after we pick them, the better. That's the best we can do. Here we're typically eating things that were picked no more than about a week ago in most cases. There are some exceptions. There are some things that take a little bit longer to ripen, but as opposed to living in Europe or North America, where the majority of what you're eating was probably picked 6 weeks ago or more. Okay, there's a huge difference between the nutrient content of something picked in the last week or a week ago and something picked 6 weeks ago or a month ago. Okay, but I can't really quantify more than that. Eric is here. Hello, Eric. That was the best Tanglewood Fruit Festival of the 3 I've been to so far. I found the video clip I mentioned to you about how you can help. I'd like to follow up on that. Okay, that's fantastic, Eric. Thank you so much for your comments. I think everyone here really had a fantastic time. I think a lot. We had, let's see, Brenda has been to 3. Guzelle has been to probably 3. Peter has been to at least 3, probably 4 or 5, maybe, all of them. I think everyone agrees. It was a fantastic event for lots of reasons, lots of very cool things. I mean, hopefully we're doing a better job, being more organized, maybe a little bit, maybe not. We had some cool things this year. I think there's a lot of reasons, but yeah, it was a great event. As for the video about how you can help, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but feel free to send me whatever it is you're referring to, and I'll be glad to take a look at it. We have a €10 contribution from Mihai, who says hello from Reunion. What's your thoughts about low cholesterol? I'm eating a raw vegan diet for 4 months. Thank you. Okay, well, cholesterol is one of those things that very few people actually ever need to worry about. If your cholesterol is too high, then fasting optimally next, simply making better choices is going to be the best way to deal with that. Certainly, we don't want to use drugs. Cholesterol drugs are toxic and harmful and do very little benefit for us. But we can easily address cholesterol issues by simply getting the body clean enough. So that would be my recommendation, would be, if you're worried about cholesterol at all, don't be. It will likely take care of itself by simply eating optimally for a while. And if you really want to get things as clean and well-functioning as possible, as quickly as you can, fasting is going to be the way to do that. Fasting is amazing when done properly and long enough. Okay, I hope that helps. Alexis DePrato has made a $5.49 contribution. Said, hello, Loren. Right after running, should I drink, eat fruits, or do both? Is it okay not drinking while running? Thanks. Yeah, so first of all, it's perfectly okay to not drink while running if you're not thirsty. Okay, if you're thirsty, then you either want to take little tiny sips of water, never a lot of water at once, never ever, especially not while fasting or exercising. Okay, why not? Because if we drink pure water, this is spring water, it's perfect water, comes out of the ground right here on site. It's amazing. It tastes good. You can see it's very, very clear. There's no turbidity. It looks like there's nothing there. It does have a low level of total dissolved solids, which is perfectly fine and healthy, how it should be. It shouldn't be 0. It should have minerals in it. It does. But it doesn't necessarily have all the electrolytes we need in the concentrations we need them. So we want to be careful when fasting that we're not drinking too fast, so we're not flushing out electrolytes, okay? Flushing out electrolytes is a bad idea. We also Want to be careful. I mean, anytime in life, we don't want to flush out electrolytes. But when we're eating, it's a different story because we're replacing them. When we're running, let's say you're running a marathon, you're running a 10K, a 5K, whatever, you're just running. It's just a warm day and you're running out there and you're hot and you're sweating. So you're drinking a lot of water. Well, you're drinking water that may not have the electrolytes you need. You're sweating out electrolytes. You're going to create an electrolyte deficiency. If it's severe enough, you could be hospitalized for weeks or more. And if it's really, really severe enough, it could actually kill you. Okay. This happens. People die of hypo, which is low natremia, low sodium. This happens. It's not something we typically need to worry about, but it is okay to not drink water while running if you're not hot. If you're hot, little tiny sips of water, or eat high water content food. So, when people run 26 miles, they run a marathon, they are looking at consuming something because they're running for hours. It's a whole day, right? So most people are going to consume things. What I would do is I would consume things like oranges, which are high in water, around 92% or 90%, but also contain lots of electrolytes, lots of nutrients. You're supporting your body better than if you're simply drinking a bunch of water. And again, if you are going to drink water, little tiny sips, just a little bit at a time. That's the way to drink water. That's always the way to drink water. Drinking water quickly is always flushing out electrolytes and is always going to create issues for us. Okay? So I hope that's clear. I'm going to scroll back up here until we have another super chat and keep on making my way down. Gabriel says, is it good to put fruits or lettuces in the fridge if it's a hot season so that they do not get bad or are damaged and lose properties? Well, lettuce needs to be refrigerated once picked. It doesn't last very long otherwise. Fruits that are cut open need to be refrigerated and ideally sealed in some way. I like to cut it straight, like a melon or papaya, stick it on a plate so it's sealed to the plate, essentially, and then I'll cut off and throw away a very thin section that was oxidized, that was exposed to the air. But other than that, our fruit lives at room temperature. That's always ideal. You don't want to eat fruit that's cold. You don't want to refrigerate most things, especially if you're looking at fruits that still need to continue ripening, as many fruits do. Avocados, for instance, fall off the tree hard and green. They ripen after they leave the tree. Okay, so even if I've picked them all, doesn't matter. They still need to ripen. Okay, they're not going to ripen in the fridge. They need to be at room temperature. Now, once they're already, if you have a whole bunch of stuff that's fully ripe, you can refrigerate it to slow down any further ripening from happening. That's going to help you. But you only want to do that if you really need to. Ideally, buy less food so you don't wind up with a whole bunch of stuff that needs to be refrigerated, because refrigerating stuff's never going to be optimal. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let's see how we're doing here. Okay, we have just a few minutes left. Rachel said hello. Gitanjali, namaste. Hello there, Gitanjali. Good to see you again. Engine says, Gamush. Hi, Loren. Hope you're doing well. I am indeed. Judy says hello. Hello there. Good to see you. Gabrielle says, after the fast that you have done and having a very clean body, why do you think that even your body asks for avocado if it has a lot of concentrated fat and we need small amounts of fat and protein? Well, I love avocado because it tastes amazing and feels good. There's nothing wrong with avocado. Avocados aren't particularly high in protein. They're high in fat. But because they're fruits, as the avocado ripens, the fats are broken down into fatty acid components that make them up. And it's not a problem. It's not problematic to eat avocados. So I eat avocados because I love avocados. I can easily go a month without eating an avocado and have done so. But there's no reason to avoid avocados. As long as you don't overeat them, they're perfectly fine. Okay. All right. Luke says, hi, Loren. I often get a small reaction from eating a fruit-based diet, mainly a burning to the tongue, leave what looks like mild burn patches, usually after kiwi, pineapple, and tomato. Is this normal? Well, it happens, Luke, when people are eating fruits that are unfortunately not properly ripened. Okay, if you eat something that's not fully ripe, you're going to wind up burning your tongue many times. And unfortunately, when you pick acid fruits prematurely, they are not going to be ripe. That's what happens. Okay, you pick any fruit prematurely, and it's never going to fully ripen. You pick acid fruits prematurely, and not only do they not fully ripen, but you wind up with excess acid, and that burns. And that's what's going on. Okay, and that's why you're finding with pineapples. Pineapples, here in Costa Rica, a pineapple's worth 75 cents to $1, 50 cents to $1 maybe. Okay, in North America, that same pineapple is worth anywhere from $3 to $6. So everyone wants to sell their pineapples on the export market. They pick them all too soon. Whatever they can't sell on the export market, they sell locally, but they're all picked too early, so they're going to burn. Kiwis are picked too soon to ship. Okay, and what else did you mention? I forget what the other one was. I mean, this is what happens with a lot of acid fruits. They're just too acidic because they were picked too soon. So you want to be careful with that. Okay, again, folks, maybe it's time to consider leaving Babylon, living in paradise. We can pick fresh fruit every day of the year, and we don't have to worry about that. Okay, Those Love Songs has made a $50 contribution. Thank you so much. I am so appreciative. I don't even know how to tell you. Thank you. And says, good morning from Martha in Southern California. Have a wonderful weekend. Martha has learned, because every week I say, Martha, who is this again making this generous contributions? Thank you, Martha, very much. I really, really appreciate that. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and a fantastic week. I will be leaving Mexico next week on Friday, but late enough, I think I can do my live broadcast and then leave the hotel next Friday. It'll be my last day before I head back to the airport. So hopefully I'll look forward to seeing you next week. All right. And we have a few more minutes. What about the omega-6, omega-3 ratio in avocados? You do not have to worry about this, Nathan. Okay, Nathan, yeah. I'm sorry, Natasha. Okay, we don't have to think about this. Now think about the squirrels in the tree outside of your front door. Okay, before they have lunch, are they asking themselves, scratching their little head with their little paw and asking themselves if they've had enough riboflavin yet today? I don't think so. Okay, we don't have to intellectualize all this. All I have to do is listen to my body. Avocados are fine with regard to the omegas, but this isn't something you ever even have to think about. It's not an issue unless we're taking concentrated amounts of these things artificially, through artificial sources. If we're eating natural foods, my body knows how to balance this. I don't ever have to think about it, okay? It's a non-issue, something I never, ever need to think about. Okay, I hope that's clear. I hope that makes sense. And yeah, let's see. Alexis has made a comment here. I'm sorry, I'm at the bottom rather than the top. I haven't scrolled back up. Alexis says, watching your videos, I understand why dry fasts are dangerous, but as humans, we didn't have always water access depending where we were. Aren't we built to tolerate a few days without water? Well, yeah. Thank you so much, Martha, for your comments here. It's nice meeting with you all, meeting with all of you this Friday morning. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, Alexis, we are meant to be able to go some period of time without water, although I don't know that we would ever have to go that long. We're tropical animals. Here we have water on site 12 months of the year. Okay. We have now, with the project, the Las Cascadas project that we're creating, we have contracted to buy some 18, I think, different farms. Every single one of them has at least one spring on site. In the tropics, there's plenty of water. Okay, the fruits and leaves have plenty of water. But the fact is that even if we were in a place where there was no water, we couldn't find any water, there was nothing to eat, no high water content foods, yeah, maybe our bodies were meant to be able to go a few days without water, maybe longer. However, and this is a big however, the average person has been consuming dry garbage their entire life, living on foods that contain almost no water. What those substances do is dehydrate the body. If your body's dehydrated, going 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 days without water only means you're making yourself much more dehydrated. A polar bear, a female polar bear, when pregnant, will spend 5 months underground with no food or water while making milk for her 2 cubs. She bears 2 cubs at a time. She bears them. They start breastfeeding. They're consuming her milk. And she's making milk while consuming nothing, no water. Yeah, she loses half her body fat. And she was hydrated to start with because she never grew up eating bread, cereal, Pop-Tarts, pasta, all these things that don't contain any water. Okay? So yes, even if humans are meant to be able to go without water, that doesn't mean the average person can actually do this. We have helped dozens of people overcome serious challenges they've created for themselves by making themselves dangerously dehydrated because they didn't drink enough water. Okay? Up to people like Dr. Robert Lockhart, an amazing guy who died late November, early December 2019 from repeated dry fasting and from not consuming water. He was making his body more dehydrated. Just living on fruit is not enough water. Okay, forget about the dry fasting. Until your body's clean, you need to be sipping water throughout the day. I guarantee you're going to get much healthier if you do that. Now, you might feel worse before you feel better. Why? Because your body's able to detoxify. People believe that dry fasting is better for them because they feel better. Lots of things can make you feel better that aren't any good for you. Okay, the reason people feel better dry fasting is because their bodies can't detoxify when they're dehydrated. This is not helping you. Okay, you do not want to be in this situation. I hope this is clear. I think, unfortunately, you know what? I can still go another few minutes. It makes sense. You're very, very welcome, Alexis. All right, let's see here. Zalter says, hi, Loren. Does a person with MS typically require anywhere from 26 to 30 days? Yes, I typically recommend 26 to 30 days fasting with MS. By the way, I have a client here of one of my volunteers was diagnosed many years ago with epilepsy, was medicated for many years. She had her first clean brain scan in something like, I'm talking about like decades, I think, since she was a little girl. She's now 34. So she's had the first clean brain scan, which means what? No epilepsy after fasting in 30 years. Okay. We see people heal from MS. We see people heal from Lyme disease. We see people heal from hypertension, arthritis, type 2 diabetes, over and over and over and over again, because our amazing bodies are self-healing. And all the people out there, there's not a lot of them, but there's a few people, and some who have attacked me, who would say, well, fasting screwed me up. Not me, but they got screwed up fasting. Well, fasting doesn't hurt anyone. Not fasting properly can create issues. Our bodies are self-healing, and fasting properly simply gives the body the optimal conditions to cleanse and heal. How can that ever be bad for you? It can't. Okay, it doesn't. It doesn't make us worse. It doesn't injure us in any way. It can only make us healthier, and that's what happens when we fast. We see amazing things happen every single time, over and over again. Incredible things are happening when people fast. Okay. Zolter says, that's amazing. I have MS and will be down there soon. I hope you will. Remember, we book up in advance. We reopen on the 3rd of April, which is 4 weeks from this past Saturday. We are almost completely full for April. We still have a few spaces for May, and then we close again on June 12th, and then we open again on the 17th of July. We tend to stay full, and we stay full not because we do any marketing or advertising. We don't. I mean, I do videos and live broadcasts, but we have this last session, we had some, over the course of 10 weeks, we had probably 16 people here who had been here before. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times before. People come back because it works. People come because their friend, their family member referred them. I got a message last night from a woman who said, my sister was just with you. I'm interested in coming to fast. I mean, this is what happens over and over again. Okay, what we do works. I've got 2 more super chats here I'm going to attend to, and then I'm going to have to jump off here. Rachel is back with a 5-pound contribution. Thank you. And says, what can cause blood sugars? Why does your blood sugar go up? Maybe after eating a meal, a mono meal of fruit. Is it wise to add leafy greens with fruit meals to combat this? Thank you. So yeah, Rachel's asking, why does blood sugar go up when one eats a mono fruit meal? So first of all, it's perfectly natural for blood sugar to go up. It's not a problem unless it goes up too much. So, if it goes up a little bit and your body is able to bring it back down into a healthy range within a couple hours, it's not a problem. You don't have to worry about that, okay? But if your blood sugar is going up out of control and it's actually creating problems for you, then yes, you might benefit from eating leafy greens. So for instance, last night we had people, I actually had a couple of these, jackfruit wrapped in lettuce, okay? Delicious. Sometimes it's better. I mean, the jackfruit we've had has been so delicious. It's been so sweet. It's almost too sweet. My blood sugar's fine, but it tastes so sweet. It can actually taste better when combined with lettuce. The same thing is true with some of our bananas. We have amazing bananas and they're delicious, but they're so sweet that sometimes they actually taste better with adding lettuce to the meal. So it's not just the fruit. This can happen. This is more likely to happen as well if you have an issue like you're dehydrated, like most people are dehydrated. And when people are dehydrated, what happens? Well, if you're partially dehydrated or more than partially dehydrated, what this means is that your blood volume is likely to be lower. If your blood volume is lower, then when you eat something sweet, you have the same amount of sugar entering. Let's say this is your blood, and your blood should be here, and instead it's here, and the same amount of sugar enters. What happens? It's more concentrated. Okay, that's what happens if you're dehydrated. So staying fully hydrated makes a huge difference. And I guarantee you this is an issue for many, many people. Perhaps an issue for you too, Rachel. Okay. Harry Lee has made a £9.99 contribution, said, hey, Loren, can a long fast help mental issues, for instance, a stammer, stutter, or epilepsy? Well, I just finished talking about a client who just had her first EKG, first clean EKG in decades after being diagnosed with epilepsy as a small child. She's now in her mid-30s, no epilepsy. Okay, no drugs, no epilepsy, no seizures. EKG says her brain is now fine. Yes, we see fasting helping with all kinds of things. I don't know what causes a stutter. I don't know if stammering is similar. I'm not sure what's going on there, if this is going to be affected by fasting. But fasting helps the body cleanse and heal in virtually every single way. So regardless of what's going on, if there is some detoxification needed, fasting is going to help every single time. This is why fasting is the one thing, when done properly, that allows the body to become healthier regardless of the situation. Okay, it doesn't just help heal, like some things, well, you can take this to heal that condition. If fasting allows the body to actually heal, not suppress symptoms, but to actually heal regardless of what it is that needs to heal. And this is why we see it working across the board with virtually every condition possible. All right, you know what? It is now 10 o'clock. That means I've got a group of people waiting for me. So I'm going to have to sign off. It's been a real pleasure being here with you. I hope this has been useful to you. If it has been, how about giving it a thumbs up? I see 18 of these with 78 of you currently online. I'd like to believe that this has been positive, that each of you has gotten some benefit or believe there's something positive here. Maybe you can give it a thumbs up. Please do. If same thing on Instagram. If you'd like to, you can also share this link on your own pages, on your Facebook page, on your YouTube channel, wherever you like. Let's get this information out to as many people as possible. Most people are stuck believing that medicine or alternatives, normal alternatives are their only choices. These things do not heal people because only the organism can heal the organism. This is why fasting is so powerful. Thanks, everybody, for being here with me. It's been a pleasure being with you. I will look forward to seeing you next week. Have a fantastic week. Bye-bye.